Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. You're worth it. Add a way to start. First of all, this is our first episode. It's the introduction episode. It is the interviewing one another episode. It's the proud father of dumbass kids episode. And let's not forget,
powered by Riverside.
we need that sponsorship, right? Okay, so I'm gonna let you ask the first question.
Okay, I don't think I'm gonna go.
Get us kicked
I don't think
off.
I'm gonna go in order of what it has. I think I'm gonna kind of randomize it.
Can I make a suggestion? Yeah. Lighthearted to get it started? Because if we go too deep right away, this will end too quick.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so what's the absolute dumbest thing you did as a kid?
The absolute dumbest thing that I did as a kid, I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. We lived in Mount Sterling, Ohio, and there was this train track that went by our little area that our babysitter, we had a babysitter that her house was by this train track. And this train track was set kind of low. So we kind of set up high, it set low. And there was this brick wall that was above, right? You can kind of stand on it and look down at the train track. Well, the dumbest thing I did was stand on that wall, turn around, and I literally watched my brother push me backwards off this 10-foot, maybe 12-foot high wall, landed on my back, not on grass, not on sand, not on anything that would be soft, but rather a pile of bricks. Lost my breath, thought I was dying. Yeah. So that was probably the dumbest thing I did.
Getting the breath knocked out of you as a kid especially is like you pray in that moment, you see your life flash before your eyes and you're like, this is it, this is how I'm going to go. I fall backwards off a swing. That's how I die.
Oh yeah.
It's the worst feeling.
Yeah, no, and by the way, I was like I said, like 7 or 8 years old, and my entire short life passed in front of me. It was like a blink of an eye, right? It's like, oh look, there you're born, there you're falling off a wall, dumbass. But it was I thought I was literally dying.
I can't say. I feel like that's not a dumbest thing you ever did, but more, which brother was it?
So hang on, that's the dumbest thing I'll admit to on camera.
Which brother was it? Couldn't have been Jason, no?
Ed.
Okay, I was going to say, Jason seemed like he was a good kid.
Ed. Yeah, it was Ed. I don't think Ed liked me much, so if you're watching this, Ed, the truth is finally coming.
It's okay.
out.
Just be honest. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So was that which category was that in for you?
That was funny and lighthearted.
Okay, so here's my first funny and lighthearted question for you. If we had to survive a zombie apocalypse together, which one of my favorite things,
dead.
By the way, what would be our strategy?
Anything you say goes. All on you.
Because I'm ready for this shit, right? I am so waiting.
Not only are you ready for it, there's one thing I've always said about you, and it's like you carry that funny and just like relaxed, laid back, but you terrify me because of that. I feel like there's something in there that's just waiting for a zombie apocalypse or like World War, 3 break. I know you're waiting. So there's something that scares me. So I don't care. Whatever you say, I'll do whatever you need me to do. I'm following your lead. That's it.
So just keep in mind, there's different types of zombie apocalypse, right? You have the zombies that are slow and
those ones,
right?
I'll be good with.
That's the one you want, by the way. You don't want the World War Z ones where they're running at you like at Mach 2.
No, because I remember when you used to
them.
make me run with you in the mornings and I was dying. So I would die. You know what I would do? You know what I would sacrifice myself so you could go and, survive, because I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Don't worry, because trust me, you wouldn't have to sacrifice yourself. I just would outrun you, and that's it. Like, listen.
At that point,
I'm telling you,
there's no relation.
You can't keep up,
every man for themselves.
You got that right.
I'll shoot you in the leg and keep running.
So what's your next question? Are you going to stick with funny and lighthearted, or are we going to jump up
Let's do another funny and lighthearted.
Okay.
Ready for this one?
Good. I hope so.
Be honest. How much of your software engineering career is just Googling stuff? Or are you not allowed to say right now?
Well, no, actually, I just quit my job. I already landed my contract. So screw it. Yeah. 92%.
I knew it. I knew it.
By the way, hang on. It's no longer Googling. Well, Gemini. So Gemini does a better job with text-based stuff. But yeah, it's all about AI now. It's truly about AI.
So you don't even work, do you?
That's the secret. But keep in mind, no, I don't, not really. But keep in mind, though, for all you young engineers out there, you got it made. I had to know stuff. I had to code stuff. You don't have to do that anymore.
Someone else can do it for you, and you could take the credit.
All right. So my question, you ready? What's the most embarrassing thing I've ever said or done in front of you?
It was more embarrassing at the time, and looking back at it now, I think it's so cute and so funny. Probably totally, maybe I don't know if this is a situation you're thinking of, but unfortunately, I became a woman when I lived with him at 14 and started my monthly. And I remember my stepmom was, I think, on a work trip. My mom was all the way in Ohio, and I was just sitting there, and I'm like, oh God, I gotta talk to him. I don't know. So I remember the stairs. This was the greatest part of it. The stairs at the house. It was like, it went up a little platform and then went up the opposite way. And I remember I walked down to the platform and kind of just went, Dad. And I don't know what it was, and I still see it to this day. You just peered around. It was just your head. It was just your head, and that's what made it even better. You went, yeah? And I went, I just started my period.
Yeah.
Are you okay? Yeah, I'm okay.
Wait, what else could I have said? Yay, womanhood.
Throw a whole party. In the moment, it felt embarrassing, and I'm sitting here going, he's supposed to know. Like, obviously he's a man, but he's supposed to know, and you're gonna ask me if I'm okay. But now looking back, I'm like, poor man. Did you tell me later that did you call Martha or did you call Mom?
I called Martha.
Okay. Trying to figure out.
Most definitely. I was like, this just happened. Help me out here.
You just happen to be on a work trip. What do I do? I think you.
Why did you leave me?
I think you brought me home like multiple options. I can't really remember, but I think there was like multiple options because I remember one of them being like a damn diaper. It was a pad, but it was like a diaper. And I'm like,
Hey, listen. Ladies have needs. I don't know how big or small those needs are. So I'm doing my thing.
You're like, screw it. Put it all in the bag. I don't care. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's move up to serious and deep real quick.
Well, here, before we do that, let me just keep it light. I'm so worried about the serious and deep. I'll be honest. So the idea, the reason why that question came up in my mind was, and it was more of a playful embarrassment rather than maybe something more serious as your shit.
I do want to say, hold on, what was the situation you thought of?
Chipotle. Pleasant Hill. We were at a table. I went up to put trash. I turned around and you guys have left because I had embarrassed you. Because, I was being goofy.
I remember literally me and Megan. It was me and Megan. Martha wasn't with us.
No, it was just us.
Turned to go to the trash can. We were gone.
And you bolted. And the reason why, because I was saying, and I was being goofy. It was the same. Remember when we had the convertible? We pull up at a stoplight and I was singing all loud and acting goofy. You guys are like this. Same concept in the Chipotle.
I do that.
I was being goofy and loud.
Now to my kids.
Yep. Hey.
Oh my God. I was literally watching that play out in my head as you were talking about that. I forgot. That was great. I remember looking back through, we were looking in the window. You turned around, you're like,
you in the window. Yeah. I know. I'm like, where the hell did my kids just go? Right. So as a parent, I'm being all goofy, like, hey, yeah, whatever. And I turn around, I'm like, oh shit, they're gone. I literally went from this goofy sort of emotion to this,
where's my kids?
Horror, right. And then I turned and I see you guys walking past the window laughing. That
is freaking great.
Damn it. Yeah.
Okay. Hard-hitting awkward is my category, okay? We'll save the serious deep. We'll save the serious deep for a little bit. You ready?
Save that to the end whenever
we're ready to get off the phone.
Podcast. No, when the podcast says you have 5 seconds left.
Last question. And there will not be an episode 2.
No, right. This is it. Season 1, episode 1, the finale.
What's one thing about me that annoys the hell out of you?
I think it annoys me, but I guess in a sort of a flattering, complimentary way. You're so much like me. And when I see you do certain things, I'm like, oh my God, that's how I am.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm like, oh, no wonder I can't keep a wife.
No wonder I don't have friends.
Or anything, right? So I don't know. It's not really, it is annoying because I'm like, it's so.
Why are you so mean?
I'm like that. That right there, what you just did, that's me. And I get yelled at for doing that. I'm like, no, I know why. It's all your fault. No, it's my fault, but I see myself in you.
Speaking of which, does this look familiar?
Yeah, it's probably one of the many shirts that I can't find.
Yeah, it's yours. Look. This sweatshirt is older than me. I've always had it.
What the?
My mom gave it to me and said it was one of yours when you guys were dating.
Yeah. It was one of my favorites,
it's my
actually,
favorite.
the Pro line. Yeah.
I bet I can sell it.
Yeah, I can sell. Don't sell it.
I was literally kidding. Smells like me. Nobody wants to buy this.
You can keep it.
I wasn't going to give it back.
All right. So now I need so I'm looking for the hard or awkward. I'm going to save my awkward to the end. Let's start with the hard question here. Ready?
Okay. I don't know. Why is the awkward at the end?
It's awkward. It could be one of those literally click.
That's how the podcast is gonna that's how this episode's gonna end, is me just hanging up, logging off. All right, guys. So
and then, by the way, to be continued. Was there ever a time you resented me? If so, how did you move past it?
This one should have been saved to the end.
Nope. By the way, this is the easiest of the hearts.
God, okay. There was a time I was very mad at you. And it was a miscommunication, apparently. Don't hang up on me.
Oh, God.
When I told you I was pregnant at 16. All right, you ready?
Go ahead. hang on, let me get my stuff squared away, organize, OCD kicking in, gotta get things clean. Go ahead.
You said something along the lines, I'm not going to word for word because I can't exactly remember, but it was, it's going to ruin your life. Get rid of it. Hold on.
I didn't say that.
You,
did I?
Yeah, you did. Okay, so then when we talked, hold on. Then when we talked again, you said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I was trying to say I would have adopted him.
Wait, how the hell did I sell that one?
That I don't know, because I was like, well, that was a little bit different than, what you first said, but
It's gonna ruin your life. Kill the thing. No, what I meant was I'll adopt it. There's no way you could. There is no bridge that connects those two sides.
So I wouldn't even say resented, but obviously that first initial, I was like, that hurt. Okay. So I was a little upset, but I've never resented you. Did you think I was going to say something different to that?
No. I kind of figure it was around.
Okay. I just didn't know if there was another time that maybe I was, being an emotional pregnant teenager.
No, so I will say, and I was, and part of my response, probably my initial response to the situation that happened there, was I was a little bitter still, I think, from
me leaving,
dropping you off. Yeah, exactly. Dropping you off on a Sunday to the airport, waking up Monday morning and getting an email, a canned email. It seemed like it was prepped like 2 months earlier from your mother saying she's not coming home, she's staying with me, kind of thing. So I think there was a little bit of resentment.
Yeah, because then you sent me away, and then a few months later, I'm pregnant.
Exactly. So my mind is like, that was rough for me. That was a tough moment for me in my life.
As a parent now, although my oldest only being 11, as a parent now, there's so many things that I look back on, and I'm like, I understand that reaction, that response, that feeling. I understand it now, even though maybe not firsthand, hopefully never firsthand. If I can make it out of teenage years with no pregnant children, I won. So, but
good luck with that.
The scariest thing is Gage being 11, turning 12. If, God forbid, he had a child when I did, that means I would be a grandma in 4 years. Is that not sick? I'm not even 30.
What was the next question? Wait, is it my turn to ask the question?
No, that was yours. It's my turn.
Okay.
I don't know why this is in the serious category, but what is the biggest lesson you learned from your military experience?
I think for me, the biggest lesson was discipline. Going into the military, remember, I joined when I was 20, 21. And so, young and dumb, really dumb. I mean, in the sense of doing a lot of stupid stuff.
Yeah, that's one of my questions.
But so, no, I think it was the discipline that I got from the military. Why?
Because
I feel you're judging me. You're judging me.
I understand the discipline you have. It's very. There is one thing I'm looking straight at the camera when I say this. There is one thing that could never be said about him, and that is that he's not disciplined. Because you're how old? You're 52. When did you get out of the military?
Well, 2000 was my last time there, but I was still on hook for 2 more years. So yeah, I was
25 years ago.
28 years old. Yeah. 20.
He has carried that discipline since then. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Very strict, but in a good way.
I still get up. But no, I still get up every morning and I make my bed.
I've been doing that. I have been doing that a lot. I think that's what, I mean, there's times I haven't, but that is one thing that I have learned. That is such a you start your day so much different if you get up and make your bed.
Yeah, it's brilliant because now, granted, that's if I'm sleeping in my bed alone. Obviously, if I have, if my wife's with me, obviously, I mean, she's not getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. If I'm in my bed alone and I get up, the first thing I do before I do anything else, before I put my slippers on, I will make my bed. It's all about really, to your point, setting the tone for the day. Okay, so my serious and deep first question is, what's one thing you've always wanted to ask me, but never have? And what's ironic about that question is you've got 21 questions in front of you.
The first thing that popped in my head is actually one of my questions, so I can't. So I'm going to use your question to actually ask one of my questions. And you have to be
okay. That's clever. That's clever and just
okay.
wrong.
So now for this question, let's take out what we've talked about already about this question in the past. Let's take out the humor, and let's take out your ability to be a smartass, and let's be completely and utterly honest. Okay, you ready? How many?
No, I'm not ready. Wait, first stop. How can you set it up that way? And then that's if I'm ready. I'm never going to be ready for that sort of a
because
setup.
I've asked this question before, and I believe you're being honest when you tell me the answer, but it's also, I feel like one of the, you know how we talked about the whole traits thing, like the funny or the traits that I have that, you know, from you.
Yeah.
One of them is like deflecting with humor. So I just want to.
Exactly.
Right, so,
brilliant, by the way.
Right. So let's not do that. How many?
Wait, stop. hang on. Let's go back to that one question you asked me before. What is one thing? You being like me, remember the whole thing? okay, hang on. Okay, I'm ready. What the, wait, you can't do that and expect me to be serious.
How many unknown siblings do you think I actually have?
Why would you ask that question?
Because I want to know. Do I have a brother? Do I have another sister? Because the sister I have gets on my nerves.
Except the little one. The little one's good.
Okay, so before I ask that question,
answer, not ask. Answer.
Or I'm sorry, before I answer that question, let me ask this question. You took a little bit of law, right? What they call that? I don't know. You took something in college, so some classes in college that about law, criminal law, whatever. What's the statutory limit on
Child support? Well, from what you've told me, wait, do they do back child support?
Yeah.
The link. How many?
Okay, so this is okay. Okay, on a serious note, I'll try to be serious here. What's with the camera? Okay, so here's what I will say. One, for certain.
Now, when you say for certain, do you think for certain like it's a possibility or like no? I'm not asking for names on camera. We'll talk afterwards.
Oh, okay. One for certain.
That's it?
That's easy. If there's no names allowed.
I said on camera, I need to know afterwards.
Oh, that's not happening. But two, potentially.
Is the second one from another country when you were in the military?
Oh, that's the third one. The second one would be...
I thought we were just talking about the United States, like just in this area.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
You want to open up other countries? Get paper and pen. It's going to be a while.
You have a map behind you.
Yeah.
Pins. Exactly. Put pins where you might have children.
Where is he circling? Where is he circling? Now, real quick, branch off real quick. Not going to say any identifying information, but is it the stuff that you told me before that I went on a big search and I was like, I'm pretty sure I found the person. And then I was like, or was that?
That's one of them.
I also had thought at one point, maybe you were just leading me on a wild goose chase. So I didn't actually find the person.
No, okay. No. Well, that too. Yeah. But yeah.
Is the possible second one Ohio or California?
No, there's nothing in California other than Audrey. There's no one else in California. This would be
Nevada?
limited.
I'm just kidding. Why did you pause? Wait.
Hey,
I had some
listen,
layovers there. They
listen,
took a while. I don't know.
right? Listen. Jeff in Iowa. Sorry, buddy. I'm not admitting to you.
Sorry, son.
It's either Ohio or overseas. And overseas. Hey, listen. Let's move on. What's the next question?
It's your turn. Wait,
Are we still in this
Okay, so
serious?
now you can go again since yours sparked
That's right.
one for
That's
me,
right.
so you
That's
can go
true.
again.
Yeah, we've all said each other. Okay, so how this is a serious one. And this is one, as a parent, and I think you can relate now, obviously, as a parent, you can relate to this type of questioning, right? How did me leaving for California impact you growing up?
That's a loaded question because
Yeah.
it was very unstable. And I feel like stability would have played a big part in my life had you not. But in the same sense, I am a very big believer in everything happening for a reason, and how we all already have a plan for us before we get here. It's already laid out. And I also think that
Seems hang on, wait, you believe that our world, our life is already laid out for us, our plan has been made for us? Well, that seems sort of boring, doesn't it?
Yeah, but I think there's reasons for it. I think that there's a purpose, obviously. Everybody has a purpose. I don't know.
Wait, the purpose is apparently to live out this plan that's predetermined for us.
I just mean, like,
right?
Maybe. I don't know. You're starting to make me question my. What was the question?
Incoming Stitch. She's over in the corner.
None of it's real. We live in a simulation.
Right? Ones and zeros.
27.
What? 42. That's the meaning of life.
I was talking about the movie with Jim Carrey.
23.
I knew it was the 20. Anywho, the question, to answer the question. I feel like
that was a clip.
Once again, insert your shirt. I feel like you staying could have impacted my life in a way different direction. So I don't really even know how to answer that question as far as how things could have been different. I know how it could have been different. It would have been
maybe cut this out.
This goes off of your question. Do you ever feel guilty for not being more present in our life?
Most definitely. 100%.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to ask such a hard question. I'm sorry, don't be mad at me. I'm just kidding.
No. So, no.
Now I'm going to cry.
So, I mean, that's one thing that I struggled with, really. Right. I mean, granted, I guess now as a parent and being, almost 30, you can appreciate the I guess the challenge, sort of the things that I went through mentally, physically, emotionally, knowing that I was moving almost 3,000 miles away, leaving a 4 and a 6-year-old at home. It was tough because all I wanted was to keep you guys close to me, to protect you, to do everything. I wanted to give you guys everything. And it was tough. It was truly tough leaving and knowing that I was so far away. I couldn't hold you. I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. It was tough. It was tough.
And our 6 weeks out the summer with you, they're some of the funnest times that I remember from my childhood. Just all the stuff that you took us to do. I mean, I know the Alcatraz cassette walkthrough by heart, probably. They probably don't even have cassette.
Like 3-4 times, right? 3-4 times.
Do you remember when I twisted my ankle on the trampoline and we still went?
Did you know that I got rid of the trampoline after you twisted your ankle?
After, yeah. But you still made me go
This has gotta go.
You still made me go.
Oh, most definitely.
Hop
along,
walking
Cassidy.
on an ace bandage.
Most definitely. I paid for the tickets. You were gone.
It was fun.
For the 3rd time.
Dad, we've seen this like 7 times. My ankle's swollen and black.
I think by the time you guys hit 15, 16 years old, you probably could have given the tour at Alcatraz.
That's what I said. I don't even think they have cassette tapes anymore, for one.
Oh, that's right. They had a little...
Yeah, because you could either choose to go with a tour or you could be a guided tour, and we always did the guided tour.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, but you realize it's like every time you guys were out with us, it was like somebody else from the family from one side of the another came out and was like, oh, let's go to Alcatraz. So unfortunately, you guys got sucked into that madness. You know, it's like 5 years in a row or 4 years in a row or something. It was brutal. It was great. It was great. We had a lot of fun. My turn. So are we going to jump over to? Let's go back to funny.
Yeah.
Let's lighten up. Let's
lighten the you know
mood
what's
a
funny?
little bit. My turn.
I know. I'm just saying. My siblings' question was actually under funny and lighthearted, but I changed it to serious because I seriously wanted to know.
Let's keep it funny.
You sounded like a hermit.
So
let's keep it funny.
Oh, Miss Piggy. I don't know. Wait. No. What's green and smells like bacon?
What?
What's green and smells like bacon? Let's move on. Everyone else listening to this has already got it. You were like 3 days late on that one.
That's horrible.
Okay, so funny and lighthearted. Oh, this is a good one. If we swapped lives for a week, what's the first thing you would do as... Right.
I would go spend so much money. Now, I can say, and I don't know if this is still like my childhood mind here, but I know as an adult, I don't think it's as much as how I thought when I was a kid, but I still think you're like loaded, at least secretly. Maybe nobody else knows. I still think you're like loaded, and I would go and spend some money. I'd spend some money.
So for all my ex-wives and my current wife, I'm broke.
Super broke.
So that was, it's funny because when I was writing that out, that was the one thing that I thought you would say.
What's that say about me?
It says a lot about you.
You know the other thing I would do?
No.
I would go through personal stuff, like if you have journals and stuff, because I know there's something, and I don't know what it is, whether it's a big dark secret or there is something that I feel like will eventually come out. Maybe you're long gone. And you're like,
I hope I'm dead by then.
It's like a note I'll receive in the mail from you from like years ago. And you're like, Samantha, I've always had to tell you this, but blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
I'll live to be like 120.
I
will outlive most of my enemies.
And fueled strictly on just spite and pettiness, you are going to outlive everyone.
Most definitely.
All right, let me look. All
right.
What is the worst pickup line you've ever used? What is your most like horrible? You approached a girl, said something, or try to pick her up, and she's like.
But that's the thing. I've never really listen.
I haven't got rejected.
I haven't had the need to.
I know how you think. This just proves it. It literally proves it.
Yeah. I mean, look at these blue eyes.
Trying to riz up the camera. Do you even know what riz means?
Damn, Skippy.
Do you know what riz means?
Yeah, I do. Do you know what Skippy means? Yeah, I know. Moving on. Charm, baby. Riz means charm. You know I got it.
Next episode is me reading those TikTok comments.
No,
Oh, yeah.
no. I tell you what. There was 2 episodes that I was concerned about. Number 1 was the interview episode, the very
Yeah, we
first
haven't
one.
even got the good stuff.
The second one. I know we're already almost like 45 minutes deep too. That's how bad
we're
this
like
is.
sweet spot.
I know this will
45
go on
minutes.
forever.
Our episodes will have to be released in 2 parts.
Oh, it's no, these are mini series. These are HBO mini series, right? No, but my second episode was going to be my big concern, and probably more so than this one was the reading of the comments. Because I know I'm going to get shredded. I think I'm going to get shredded.
No, I'm talking about the comments on the video where I did of you.
That's what I'm talking about. I think I'll get shredded.
First off, do you know what beekeeping age means?
That's a new one, actually. What is it?
You know the TV show Rick and Morty? Won't be able to see it, but you'll hear it. But it's basically the little girl, the sister, and then like there's a friend over. Okay, so this is her friend talking to her.
Okay.
Look at your dad, such a dork keeping bees. I mean, at least it's interesting though. At least like, I wish my dad kept bees. I mean, it's kind of cute. Like, your dad keeps bees. How old is your dad?
Just wait.
He's obviously beekeeping age. I think it's kind of sweet. Summer, I want to your. Oh, really?
I saw the progression. Yeah. I saw
so
the
there was a lot of,
yeah.
he's beekeeping age on that. You didn't get shredded. It's actually, the episode is aimed to, not that you need an ego boost, but because I was.
Should we move on?
Yeah. Whose turn is it?
Is it my turn or your turn?
Oh, it was the pickup.
I asked the question about swapping lives.
No, and then I asked the pickup line after, so it's your turn.
Oh, yeah, it's my turn. Did I ever answer the question?
No, yeah, you did.
Blew up.
You did.
Okay, moving on. We're going. Are we going to stick with lighthearted?
Let's get a serious one in there.
Okay, let's go to serious. Okay. What is something you admire about me that you've never told me? If you got to think that long.
No, I'm trying to think if I had told you this. Just basically how hardworking you are, honestly. Now, there's a line, because, sometimes I feel like maybe you go a little over the top, but I feel like probably because of where you came from, you're too, I don't want to say scared, but you're scared to go back to that. So you want to work harder and harder. So that, because the motivation, discipline, it's the discipline. Your discipline, because I feel like I do not have discipline, or I do for short periods of time, and then I kind of give up doing certain things. Like if I want to, I'm going to stop smoking, I'm going to start working out. I never stay disciplined enough. So you're disciplined.
Oh, that's good. If this was the moment that I could cry.
Okay, let's move on. What is the hardest thing you ever had to overcome in life?
Leaving you girls. Seriously.
I was going to word that different, probably not fighting harder just to get us from the beginning.
Same thing. Yeah. The idea was whether it was leaving you with your mother, not fighting hard enough to get you, the idea of you staying there and not being with me, the biggest regret.
Okay.
Biggest regret.
All right.
What category are we on?
Funny.
I'll take funny for 20, Jack. All right. Oh, hang on. What's a childhood story about me that you love to tell?
This one. I literally just told Austin this the other day.
What the hell?
Oh, wait. Let me just double check that this is the one. Because this one I love telling because it's so funny because it describes you. I think it was one of the first houses you lived in California.
Okay.
That we came to, because I know you lived in the A-frame one, but we never visited when you lived in that one.
That was the Asian
Yeah.
style with the
Yeah.
big
We didn't-
door and all that. You
No.
didn't come to
So
that
it was,
one.
I think, you and Martha's first place.
Antioch.
Yes. And I remember we were spinning in your office chair. You were spinning us. We were spinning you.
That was awesome.
And then
Yeah.
somehow we ended up like chasing each other. I just thought of another one too. I'm going to say one more after this one.
No,
And
I know, but I remember this one.
we were on one side of the table and you were running around. And I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the socks on the hardwood.
I was wearing socks.
You came around the table and you just went, I mean, straight, flat as a board, straight back. And it took a second. And me and Megan both were like, and you just kind of slowly got up. We're done. And you just, I mean, it was like, you turn it off. We're done playing. And me and Megan both were like,
Yep.
is he okay?
Went from here to
So fast. Another one. I don't remember what we did, but we got you so mad that you said,
no. I know what this is.
it was the mental buildup. He told us he was going to whoop us, and this would be the very first time he's ever whooped. And the last one, probably because how hard we laughed, but
It's the only time I've ever done it.
first and only. And you had us stand outside your bedroom. The door was shut, and you called us in one by one. I think Megan probably went first. But I remember I went in. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, did you have us pick the belt?
Yes.
So
I let you choose
I think
the weapon of
We
choice.
walked in to the walk-in closet, picked the belt. You sat at the edge of the bed. That was it. The slightest little tap. And I remember thinking to myself, what the fuck? And I walked out into the hallway, shut the door behind me, walked into the bedroom, looked at Megan, who was already like crying, laughing so damn hard. And I just lost it. And me and her silently laughed so hard because we're like, that was it. It was the buildup. Now, even though we laughed,
yes, the anticipation.
Even though we laughed at it, it worked because of how scared we seriously were. Like this whole like routine, like, okay, line up outside the bedroom, Megan, come in first, door shut. And I'm sitting here going, oh my God, waiting. And then for it to literally just be like, that is the best story to tell because of, in hindsight now, how funny it is, but even then how funny it was. But how could you not laugh during that?
So,
and what did we do to get you to that point? Because you had never.
I don't remember what had happened to get me to that point. To the point to where I was like, okay, it's you're about to get your ass beat kind of point.
Big.
Right. Right. But so what was interesting is, yes, the anticipation. So there's the old saying, the anticipation of death is worse than death itself, right? It's the buildup, it's the anticipation, it's the unknown. And so that's what you guys experienced up until that moment. Right. But what was interesting was it was also the same for me in the sense of, I'm like, I'm afraid to hit him too hard. I didn't know, right? So for me, it was just as stressful, just as taxing, just as punishing as it was for you guys in terms of the anticipation.
It was a lesson the whole family learned.
Oh yeah. But so to that point, I never whooped you guys again after that. But you guys did lug around a bunch of wood a few times. You know what I'm saying? I found other ways of managing the discipline aspect that was a little bit more.
You are. And we'll talk about that one. We don't have to do it right now. Here's a funny one for you.
Okay.
Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck?
I'm trying to visualize the 100 horse size. Wait, what was it? Duck-sized horses.
Or one horse-sized duck.
Horse-sized duck. I'm going to take on 100 small ones. I can just kick those little
That is
bastards.
so rude. I'd rather kick a duck than a horse, so I'm going to take the big duck.
I'm taking the duck-sized horses.
That's so sad. You're just going to kick a bunch of ponies?
Most definitely.
Okay.
I mean, they're like shin high. I could take those all day. In fact, I can walk through and sing a song.
They
while
all
I'm doing
have
it.
teeth.
A horse
Think of the horse
doesn't
mouth.
matter. Think about how many teeth are getting kicked by my boot.
Do you wear
I'm
boots?
just saying. I do have like steel-toe boots from when I'm doing in the yard. You saw the picture of me wearing my steel-toe boots, white socks, and shorts, mowing the
Looking
lawn.
like a dad. Looking like a dad.
Exactly. But remember, back then, I redefined the dad bod.
Okay. Next question.
All right, let's move it on. Blue eyes.
The only thing he
That's my
didn't give
go-to.
me.
Yeah. I got to keep something for myself. So it's my
Yes.
turn. Are we still in the funny
Pick
category?
whatever.
Ooh, pick whatever. I'm going to go with the awkward question.
Okay.
I don't know how awkward it could be. It's not really awkward. It's more like it's sort of a I don't know. You guys maybe laughing at me at this point, but it could be more of a thought-provoking sort of question.
Okay.
What's one thing about my parenting style that makes you roll your eyes? Like if I were to say something, you're like, really?
So I would say you're lecturing when it's anything based on discipline, having discipline, because I think sometimes you don't realize that the discipline you have probably exceeds even just like the average person who like has their workout routine and has this and I'm talking like discipline in every aspect. I'm just meaning like your lectures when it's like you can't like, oh, I can't do this. Like you think that other people have that same amount of discipline as you do because it comes so easy to you. So like if, oh, I can't do this, why can't you? So in a way, that
makes
it
sense.
does.
And by the way, I am still getting chastised for that way of thinking. I'm still like that, and I still think that, and I get sort of, and rightfully so. I mean, you're right. I do think that I have this misconception that everyone sort of thinks and behaves on the same level that I do. And it's not like a level like higher than anyone, just a particular level
of a certain thing.
And I still get chastised. And I agree. I agree with that. It's a weakness, but a strength.
There you go. There you go. How do you think your mom's passing changed you?
That's
and for the listeners, this was not a year ago yet, right?
It'll be a year ago in 14 days.
Okay. So recent.
Yeah. So it's a year ago. So basically, I think the one thing that I took away from my mother's passing is I'm old. I am old. Not in a sense like my mother's old. I mean, she was older, but
she was also
I
pretty
think to myself,
young.
yeah, she was 71, 72. But I think about that. I'm like, I'm no longer, a 29-year-old this year. So I'm gonna say this year. I'm no longer in my 20s. I'm no longer in my 30s. And so I think what her death did for me is remind me of my mortality, It's like and it's what's interesting is it's almost to the point now to where every single day I feel like, oh my God, it's been a week ago since I did this, or that was a month ago. It's like it seemed like it was yesterday. I'm starting to realize how fast time is going. It's the fleeting of time, right? And it's true. The older you get, the faster it goes. It's like it's a rush to get to your death. And so, if anything, her death reminded me of all of that. I'm no longer in my 20s and 30s. Time is going by fast. Make the best of what you have now because it's gone, and in a blink of an eye. So, yeah. Now, granted, I mean, her death reminded me of a billion other things as well. But if I were to, on the spot, on this moment, when you ask that question, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Your turn.
My turn. What's a moment in our relationship? Take two. What's a moment in our relationship that made you really proud or really disappointed?
Proud in a sense of
Or disappointed. But stick with proud.
We're sticking with proud.
Thank you.
and this might seem like a weird moment to be proud of, but your speech at Grandma's funeral.
Really? What was it about that speech?
It humanized you a little bit. Not that you're not already. Not that you're not already, but being a little girl, you always picture your dad being the big, strong superhero man, and to see you tear up and it was a, as an adult, proud moment. Like if I was, I mean, I cried obviously, but if I was little, I'd be like, oh my God, my dad's crying, but as an adult, I'm like, oh, so it's maybe a weird moment to be proud because it's like, oh, I'm proud he's crying. But also you and like me, myself, we always tend to kind of mask our emotions with humor and stuff. So when I say humanize you, I didn't mean like you're not,
No. I know what you mean.
Oh my gosh, like he's actually showing some vulnerability here. But it didn't last. I mean, the crying didn't last long. It was a little,
Nah.
but it was good to see.
Well, you know what was interesting about your response just now? Yesterday, and I'm not lying, I'm not trying to make this bigger than what yesterday I'm with Audrey, and she asked me, Dad, have you ever cried? And I said, and I had to think about it too when she asked me. I'm like, oh yeah. I said when Grandma Debbie died, I cried. And so it's interesting that you picked that moment because that is something that I don't really show emotion at that level. Now I can get animated in a sense to where I can be angry. I can be like, I can feel like, oh, this is so sweet. And I have sort of the range of emotion, but I don't really show it in the sense of crying or whatever. But it's interesting that you say that because that she asked me that yesterday and I thought, yeah, there was one time. And then she asked me, she goes, well, what about any other time? I go, I think the only other time I cried was probably your age, 7 years old. It's been a long time, right? But yeah, that was probably the only time that I've had that emotional, manifestation.
Do you cry
of
when you're by
in that
yourself?
sense. All the time in the shower.
I cry myself to sleep at night.
I don't.
Was that was your question? Yeah. So okay.
Yes, it was.
That's an interesting one. If you could change one thing about the way you were raised, what would it be?
Are we about to touch on the daddy issues?
Yeah, it's funny. That's the first thought that went to my mind was like, my daddy ain't around. And I thought for a second, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm glad he wasn't. And the reason why I say that is, now listen, I've not been a perfect father in any way, shape, or form. But there is one thing that I've learned from watching my father be the ass that he was and still is. Sorry, Bob.
No, we're not, Bob.
Right? It goes deep, buddy. It goes deep.
Bloodlines. Now just to get my children, you know what I mean? Like just, we're going generations.
You will be forgotten.
Let's get a shirt that says F you, Bob, and like have all the kids and all the siblings, like everybody, you, me, kids, like everybody wear it.
Yeah, no, but I mean, that's the thing. I like when you asked the question, that my first thought was daddy, right? But I'm glad, daddy, glad it ended up the way it did. And the reason why, because I think it brought me closer to my mother. And as a father now and as an adult, I look back on that situation going, I don't want to be like that. That's why for 10 years, I fought to get custody of you guys. But no, so I mean, to your point, I mean, I don't think I would change that. In fact, I'm glad it had happened the way it did, as painful as it was. Do you feel like, okay, so hang on. So I need you to, when I ask this question and before you answer it, I need you to think about this holistically. I mean, literally, and not just the past or whatever. Think about the 52 episodes we'll be doing this year.
Okay.
Do you feel like we've made up for lost time? Why or why
Yeah.
not?
I do. I wish we lived closer. Then that answer would be like, absolutely yes. But based on what we have, meaning like you living in California, me being in Ohio, I do feel like we have. And I feel like the relationship has gotten better over the years. And maybe a lot of it has to do with just like becoming an adult and having, not hormonal teenage mindset and realizing that
Psycho.
I mean, I'm still psycho. It's just a different level of psycho.
Yeah, but there's exactly. There's a difference. There's a 16-year-old psycho versus
level-headed,
29-year-old
right?
psycho.
Level-headed, hidden. I will probably end up on an episode of Snapped at one point, but that's like down the line. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
I know her.
Where do I know her from?
Right.
But yes, I do think so. And I think a lot of it has to do with realizing how similar. Because I always thought for the longest time I was like my mom in the way of being like empathetic and just how I like treated people. I thought I was like my mom. I'm not saying like my mom fully, but just like mindset wise. But as I've gotten older, I realized, oh no, I'm my father. I am so non-confrontational as a person as a whole, unless it comes to my kids or my husband, because then all bets are off.
Yeah.
Me personally, I get walked all over all the time because I can never say no to people, and I hate confrontation. So I feel like I have to go out of my way to do things for people so they don't feel bad about themselves. I'll just feel bad about myself, but I don't want them to feel bad about themselves. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah. So this is one of the...
Is it my question?
No, this is mine.
Your question.
So this is one that I think you asked me. If we could swap lives for a week, what would be the first thing you do?
So what I would do if I were in your shoes for a week is I would call Daddy
And ask for money.
to go shopping.
I would be scared for you to like pick my style.
So, I tell you what, I would go full on just 20.
Really?
I would literally live.
Get white girl
most
wasted
definitely.
as
I
a
would
28-year-old because I actually
most
hold on.
definitely.
I hit that threshold now that if I have too many drinks, I feel like I got hit by a bus the next day.
That's fine. I only have to survive for a week.
It takes a week to recover.
That'll be the week after I leave.
You're gonna wait to the night before.
I'll be like, hey, your body here. Here's your body back. Good luck, girl.
My God, what did you do?
Yep. Exactly. Bye, Felicia.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
I don't even know where I'm at.
I know.
On the
I'm
list.
actually copy and pasting the ones I haven't asked at the bottom so I can keep track.
I haven't even been that smart. I'm just like randomly selecting.
You know what's really
like
crappy as I'm
plus into this.
There's a couple that I'm not going to be able to ask because you've answered in a different question. Basically, it's like one of them's like how did growing up without your dad shape you as a parent? I feel like we've already kind of answered that.
Yeah, we did. Let's see here. I got one for you. If I was a cartoon character, who would I be and why?
Man, that's hard. Like as a parent or as a person?
Let's just go with a person.
Okay.
If my goofiness. See what I did there? I'm trying to, my good looking, funny goofiness. Give me a character, a cartoon character.
Do you have one in mind for yourself?
I have one for you. No, not for me, but I have one for you.
I'm trying to think. The first one that popped into my head based on your personality, not looks, Johnny Bravo. Thank you very much. But also,
thank you very much.
But also, I felt like humor-wise, Peter Griffin.
I love that one though. That's a good one.
But not like but the only reason I would like not say that is because Peter is like so dumb. Like you're not dumb. It's Peter's humor.
But
it's his dry humor.
His funniness, right?
So
Exactly.
If there was a mix between Johnny and Peter, it'd be you. I was going to say Quagmire. I'm just
God. Giggity, giggity. I would give you probably Tweety Bird.
I can see it. I think I thought a putty cat. I did.
Olive oil is who I would assign your sister to.
Olive.
Popeye?
I can see it. I can see it. I'm like olive oil, but okay, olive. Yeah. Nope.
But for you, it was Tweety Bird because I feel like Tweety always seemed to tempt fate. And I feel like you're always on the edge of like,
Do you remember when I almost fell off a mountain while we were bike riding over the Golden Gate Bridge, or when I did fall into traffic that same day?
Yes.
So very clumsy. There was many times that I could have died in life. One summer when I was with Mom, I almost drowned. Like, it was great. So yeah, that's very fitting.
Wait, how do I not know
And
about
that same day, I choked on one of those fireball jawbreakers. So there's been 2 days in my life that I almost died twice in the same day.
And they were both with your mother?
No, one was with you. When we were biking across the Golden Gate Bridge.
That wasn't my fault. That was just you being stupid.
The other one, when I was...
I guarantee you, hang on, I guarantee you I gave you a safety briefing before we got on that bridge.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't you? The one time I almost drowned, I was little and unattended by a swimming pool, and I reached in for a ball and fell and tumbled in, and I was actively drowning. I can still see it in my head to this day. Just, floating around.
When and where was this?
I was little when I was with Mom, but I was literally, I could still see it in my head today, and I'm just like watching, everything, and then all of a sudden you see 2 feet jump in, and it's like that slow run in the pool, and I'm just like, oh, somebody finally realized that I'm in here. And I was picked up by
Hey, look, here comes Jesus.
picked up by some 15-year-old boy and put out of the pool, and I was like, oh, thanks. Where's my mom? If today was your last day, what would you want to tell me?
I'm sorry.
We don't need to get that deep, okay? I don't want to know why. I'm gonna assume that it's from when you asked me if I was okay when I started my period, okay? And then I'm gonna move on.
Oh, that was brilliant.
See how we circle back. Your turn.
So it's my turn. Okay, so here we go.
That needs to be in its
What's the weirdest?
I want to say that needs to be a clip itself.
And a clip by itself. What's the weirdest or grossest thing you've ever eaten?
I feel like it was probably with you, since you always made me try everything.
Probably. It was probably snail.
Was that at your wedding?
Oh, you may have had some escargot.
There was something at your wedding that we...
Oh, that was oyster. We had oysters.
Lima beans.
Like snotty.
Lima
it was
beans.
a snotty lima beans.
To this day, I want to tell you, Martha, I still hate lima beans.
That's a clip.
I still hate them. Now, I do like cooked carrots. They are my absolute favorite vegetable to have.
And by the way, hashtag Martha on that one.
Go girl. And there's many of her recipes that I use that I've messaged her. I'm like, can you send me that recipe? But lima beans, still absolutely. I would probably eat, what did you say I had at your wedding?
Oyster.
I'd probably eat that over a lima bean.
Yeah. Really?
Yes. I think there was trauma behind that one, though.
Yeah, probably. There was a lot of trauma. So you're next.
Do you believe money truly buys happiness?
Yes.
And the reason I agree is, now, I'm not saying that if I had all the money in the world, I still wouldn't experience being upset or depressed. But all of my problems right now could be fixed with 10 grand. That's sad. So I'm not saying that I would be, if I was rich, I'd probably still have days. I'm bipolar.
Okay, so there's still going to be days that are not great. But a lot of people, majority of people who are depressed, it's because they can't afford life right now. So,
And I'm doing this part for the stitching that I'll be doing later. Austin, we feel you, buddy.
Now, I do want to clarify that I'm not saying I think money buys permanent happiness.
When you have money, you're happy.
yes.
I'm sorry.
You are, because
It's a fact
you
of life.
can go out and experience more. You can
Feed your family. You know, like you can.
Yeah, I mean, especially from like my perspective, where I came from growing up and where I'm at now, I've lived, quite a bit of that spectrum in that sense. And I can tell you right now, when I'm on this side where I'm at, I'm happy as hell.
Right. At least a lot happier than
Okay.
the other side.
Oh, most definitely. If I'm sitting there trying to make ends meet or trying to figure out if I can, if I'm going to have
Which
to
bill
say,
am I
okay, well, it's either going to be the
paying?
car
Right,
payment or
exactly.
car payment or a mortgage. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
So money, yeah, I agree. It doesn't, maybe not permanently. And here's the thing. So here's where I would say that if I'm someone who was born into money, only knew of money, grew up, and maybe I don't appreciate it. Exactly. If you're born into no money, poor, and then you kind of earn or work your way into it, and then you have it, trust me, that's the difference. You can say money buys happiness because I had to earn it, I had to get there.
Exactly.
I know what it's like on the other side without it. But if that's all you've ever known, yeah, of course it's not going to buy. You're the ones doing stupid stuff, right? And not really appreciating what you have.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
If you think money doesn't buy happiness, go ahead and send it my way.
I'll prove you wrong.
All right. What's one thing you wish you could tell your younger self?
Oh, and I tell you this right now. I have imagined me going back and telling my younger self this so many times, and this would definitely start after your mother. What the hell? That was not intentional, I swear. That was by accident.
I'm waiting for this. I don't know. I had my mouth covered to hide my smile because I didn't know which way this was gonna go.
Oh, okay. No, so if my younger self being 2000, let's do that. Let's just go back to when I was 28 years old. I would tell myself to be a better person, to be a better man, to be a better father, a better husband. I mean, that would be the one advice that I would give myself is like, look, just be a better person, don't be so chaotic and crazy. I mean, it could change. It changes your future, right? It changes the path in which you take. So just be a better person.
That's good.
Is what I would tell myself.
That's good. I like
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. And that's a wrap.
No, it's not.
Okay, if you had to describe me using 3 ridiculous words, what would they be?
Ridiculous words.
You get 3 words to describe me. Yeah, 3 words.
Ridiculous words or just words?
I mean, just words,
Okay.
just words.
Funny, obviously.
Most definitely.
Intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Handsome. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted? And I'm only saying
Is that what you
I'm
want?
only saying that because everybody's like, "Oh my god, you look just like your dad."
So it still comes around to be her.
Yeah.
It's all about her.
Must be a Leo thing. You're not a Leo. You're a Virgo. Virgo
It is.
men.
I'm
suck.
a Virgo.
Okay. So my last question.
Okay.
If you could ask me one question you've always wanted to ask but never have, what would it be?
Why did you leave and not come?
So the they say when you hit an age, your frontal lobe develops and you're like finally able to realize things in life and decipher right and wrong. So obviously, I think the biggest thing is guilt, being guilt tripped, for one.
Hang on. So elaborate, expand a little bit on that. Being guilt tripped by who?
Mom and grandma.
Grandma.
Yeah, Grandma Pauline.
Pauline was sweet. What would she drop on you?
Just, oh, your mom's having such a hard time. Oh, yeah.
I got
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So,
I
like,
gotcha. Yeah,
the
that makes sense.
heaviness of guilt. Right before I went to, like, go to Ohio is when I started talking to Adrian. So that was, like, a heavy thing. You know, this bad boy that didn't finish high school, that dropped out after his second year of 9th grade, was interested in me, and he was, oh, you're so cute, and I'm like, oh, so that played a heavy part of it. And again, stupid as hell, but now looking back, it led to Gage and unfortunate events, and putting myself in stupid situations still led to, like, the one thing that I do believe saved me, because I couldn't imagine. I feel like I've always been a really good person, and I still would know right from wrong, but I feel like I would end up in situations that I shouldn't have because of being non-confrontational. And I feel like Gage saved me in a way that I don't know what path I would have went down had I not been humbled by God. He was like, here you go, sit down.
Right.
Sit down. I'm like, okay, cool. So now I'm a mom. So I feel like that whole combination. But being an adult, there has been plenty of times that I have sat back and have thought, and not that I regret any decision that has led me to where I'm at today. Because again, I'm a heavy believer in everything happens for a reason. It's all in the works, I did this because of this, which led me to, meeting Austin. I didn't break up with Adrian a year prior and meet somebody else and until I was ready to meet Austin. Not that I met him immediately after. I'm just saying, if I had broke up with Adrian the year prior, what if I would have met somebody else that I would have been with and not met Austin? So everything's always laid out. But I know life would have been so much different, and I don't want to say better because I love my life.
No.
But I would have had a better childhood, teenage years, if I would have stayed. And I recognize that now.
I mean, and I truly appreciate that. I mean, to me, that's very legit. I feel that was very sincere. I mean, was there anything though at the time?
No, there wasn't.
There
there wasn't. And I'm going to interrupt you to say it because there was nothing you could have done because everything you did was great. I was a stupid teenager that let stupid things influence me. There was nothing you could have changed or done different because you were honestly really great, and I'm really sorry.
No, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
No, I am sorry, and I'm not saying I'm sorry like as in like if I could go back I'd change it, because obviously I wouldn't, because I love my children. But I'm sorry in the way I made you feel because I couldn't imagine that, and I'm sorry that it took me turning 27 and my frontal lobe developing, going, oh my God, you're dumb. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm sorry for. I'm sorry that it didn't come sooner, I guess.
One of the things that I really struggled with was, I mean, I thought about it. I mean, and we've had these conversations, like, was it because I was in a relationship that was made it difficult for you girls? Did that weigh in? And I'm certain it did. I mean, obviously there was some tension there, in the sort of the family dynamic. But, I always would wonder, was there something that I did or didn't do that, played a role in it? Could I have done something differently? And then ultimately, I mean, it was just like, I get it. I was a little bit more strict than your
But no,
mother. I understand that.
Yes, you were more strict than her, but you weren't a strict parent when you really look at it.
Right.
You were just a
And that's what I was
caring.
wondering. Was I
No,
over?
you were just
Yeah, I was wondering, did I
caring.
overdo it?
You were just caring and
Yeah.
doing like what parents should do, And there was a saying that I heard just recently that kind of like blew my mind, because Austin always tells me how overprotective I am. And we just had this talk the other day about how we don't even like want our kids playing in the backyard because it scares us. But there's a saying that really like hit home, and it was an overprotected mother was an underprotected girl. And it's so true, because it's like, me and Austin have had conversations. I'm like, I know what I was out there doing and the situations I was in, not even really realizing it. And nobody was there to stop it or intervene. And that's why I'm like so protective. But that would be so much different had I just been with you. You weren't too strict. You didn't have too many rules. You weren't overbearing. You weren't any of that. You were fun. You were so much fun. I mean, there were so many things that we did that I'm like, you are / were a great dad. Seriously.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
It was me, not you. Wow.
Well, I think that's a great way to wrap this whole thing up. I mean, it was really deep. I like that. That was a good way to finish.
I thought some of these were going to go like hit harder, I guess. I thought that asking a question about your mom would have been a little harder.
No, I mean,
14 days.
I'm not as
14 days.
Yeah, April 14th.
So I thought. And it was coming up.
So I'm not as emotional. You know me. I mean, I had that moment a year ago, and that was probably the first time in 25, 30 years since I've been emotional. So even now, when I think back, I think it was Audrey was asking about it. I'm like, it was what it is. I mean, it's a part of life. I'm fine with it. We now move forward. Every day I think about her. I say things like, I miss you, Mom, and things like that, but that's it. I mean, I know what it is.
I don't like being emotional.
I don't
either.
Gross. It's too, well, it's too demanding.
It's too vulnerable.
Exactly. It's just too demanding. I don't need this.
I'd rather like people see the side of me that like flips out and goes way over the top than be emotional.
Yep. Exactly.
Because I want you to be like, oh, she's crazy. She cuckoo.
Yeah.
No, oh, what a big baby. No, she crazy.
I want her on my team. Listen, when it comes down to it, either people see you as, I want them on my team, or I want to compete against them. Right? That's really the mindset.
I feel like I'm not picked or competed against. I feel like I'm one of those like background characters that you forget about.
Right. Avoid that crazy bitch.
Yeah. Right. If there was cameras in my house, I would either be famous or admitted. Only two ways that would go. It's funny because today I heard a saying, either you're going to listen to me or you're going to hear about me. My favorite saying that reminds me of myself is, the only difference between me and a mental patient is I'm outside.
I have freedom.
You don't. They haven't caught me yet. Next week. So I'm doing this episode alone because Sammy actually... She snapped.
No. This next episode is going to be in a padded room.
Where are you at? I'm actually in a different area today.
All right. Well, listen, let's wrap this up. I love you.
Love you too, Dad.
Bye, bitch.
Fine. Bye.